Welcome. This is Anne. This is the first video that I'm recording for my new channel, Healing Your Inner Child. You don't know me, so I'd like to introduce myself to you formally and through a story. Formally, I earned my PhD in clinical psychology over 40 years ago. After I earned that degree, I spent a year in a postdoctoral fellowship in the Department of Psychiatry. So I moved from UCSF, the Langley Porter Institute, over the bay to Berkeley, where I worked a year in fellowship because I knew I needed to learn more about the practice of psychology and psychotherapy. After that, I was fortunate in being hired by the Counseling Center at UC Berkeley, where I began my work with clients. And it's been over 40 years. This has been actually my life work and my career. Now, that's the formal story. In that time, in the formal 40 years, not only have I worked with clients, but I continued my training in various modalities. I took a 4-year term at Barbara Brennan's School of Healing over 20 years ago. In the course of that, becoming a Reiki master, and then finally a certified healing science practitioner. So I had interests all over the place. But then I began to concentrate more on life coaching and working with individuals to help them sort out the struggles they're in. And in about 9 years ago, I began working on my own personal journey because I wrote a chapter guided by what intuition sent me. Listen to the cries of your heart. It was so stunning to get a message like that I went step by step, led by intuition, to uncover all in my heart that needed to be healed. It was quite a journey. And then 4 years later, in the middle of a 5-day challenge, I heard you need to learn this. It was given by Colette Stryker, who was the founder of the MAP Institute, Make Anything Possible. It was such a profound gift to me to be trained, to learn this method created by Dr. Gary A. Flint, who decided to take on the most difficult patient population. And that was the group of dissociative disorders, mainly people who were tortured, who were victims of satanic cults and so forth. And his genius is that he interviewed the subconscious of his patients and learned about how memory worked and how to heal what had happened to these individuals. So he did the deep work that we can use to heal our not so huge traumas, but they're traumas nonetheless. When I look at my own life, I can say, my whole life has been informed by the inner child. What do I mean? The most significant event that I can point to in growing up was 2 years and 3 months after I was born. My twin sisters came on the scene. Can you imagine? Up to that time, I was, for the most part, the center of attention, whatever attention there was. But with their screaming arrival, I was kicked off the stage. And it was bewildering. I felt lost and alone. And I had to make do with how I was to survive. And I'll tell you the details of that story in one of these videos. But the important thing for me, I didn't know I was lost and confused because I was living the Stoics life out of my Japanese American tradition, which means we don't pay attention to emotional activity. We rise above and we do the best we can, building our character. We don't try to change any external things. It's all about building character. So there was no attention paid to any emotions. And that's the way I lived decades after decades. And then the event 9 years ago, when suddenly things changed. Since that time, not only have I become acquainted with many, many aspects of the inner child, I also became more emotionally intelligent. So this is part of what my services and programs offer, not only inner child healing, but a vital component to that, which is to become emotionally intelligent. You know, we were never taught how to deal with feelings. We did the best we could, reacting, denying, or like me, riding above it all. And nothing in our families or in schools were emotions attended to. And that's why the world is full of emotionally unintelligent people. So in order to foster whole wholeness, well-being, to come home to yourself, I also include this piece, what I call emotional reset or emotional intelligence. So that's two large components of what I will describe here in subsequent videos. But I also will describe what I call spiritual practice. Through the years, I have gathered, and especially in the last 10 years, spiritual practice that are vital to supporting my journey home to my heart. And so this is a component that I include in what I teach, and I will include in these videos. In fact, I think after this next video, I will present a segment called Awareness and Inner Child Healing. I don't know how many or what topics will be covered in the subsequent videos. I do know that I intend to release 2 or 3 videos in this channel a week to provide everything I know about inner child healing. I know there are a lot of other channels out there. I haven't bothered to look at them except to see how well appreciated they are. I don't know the backgrounds of the people, but I would guess that my personal and professional experience is huge, especially since I don't just focus on the inner child. There is so much more to you that needs attention, and this is what I will present. The biggest piece well, the vital, important piece of what I'm presenting is the power of the subconscious. Just as an introduction, do you know that as you're listening to me, there is only 5% that gets it? Because 95% of what influences us in any given moment is from the subconscious. And that's a good thing. The subconscious does so much for us. All our physiological process, our breathing, our heart beating, and so forth, all subconscious. We don't have to consciously do it. And in the subconscious are all the painful memories, all the limited beliefs, limited strategies, all the limitations that come from being hurt young in life. It's all in the subconscious. So unless you collaborate with the subconscious and are able to release this, conscious effort in inner child healing goes only so far. It's beautiful work, therapeutic work. But if you truly want to heal your inner child, you need to learn about collaborating this with the subconscious, which I'll talk about here and there and more, so that I will hold nothing back in terms of what I have used for myself and for my clients to come to a place of feeling despair, distress, anger, fear, sadness, and all the variations in between which troubled them or let them know they were not in a place they wanted to be where I could say that one client says she's now doing work that makes her heart sing. That was just a side gig she had while she was doing her success career. Another story, I just came upon her name as I was going through my client list, someone who's passed on, but when I was meeting with her, she was struggling with her children who weren't providing the care that she needed, and she was older and needed help. And she was taking desperate measures to get this help. Her health was low, her spirit was low. But through the work we did together, she found her connection to her God and felt the reassurance that the love she sought came from this God of her heart. And she passed on very, very grateful for the way that that love actually came to her from the people around her while her heart knew that she was home. And that's my intention for this inner child course, to help you come home to your heart.